What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is going to be your review for Love and Marriage Detroit Season 1, Episode 8. So listen, we are still down to the shut up and pray breakfast, and nobody is shutting up, and I don't think nobody was praying, okay? They still arguing. LaTanya, Christina, and then Kobe comes over there, and I know good and well production sent her. Because if it was me, I'd have stayed the hell out of that. I'd have been like, that's my ride home. So I'm just going to sit over here and be quiet. But production must have sent Kobe over there. And Kobe was like, is everything okay? Girl, you know everything ain't okay. So basically what we find out is they're going to table the conversation. Excuse me. They're going to table the conversation until they take their group trip down to the Michigan wine country. But Christina feels like, listen, I'm sick of this argument already. Because at the end of the day, Christina, you did tell a fib, but Anthony, you are being messy, and that's just my 2 cents on it. But moving forward, child. Everybody's getting ready to go down to the wine country, right? We got the van showing up, everybody's showing up, and even Bravo and his wife are coming, and they seem really nice. Like, I like Bravo. I don't know why Bravo decided not to be full-time, or if production decided not to make him full-time, but I like Bravo. I think Bravo would have been a good addition, him and his wife. Maybe they weren't messy enough. I don't know. But here's the conclusion that I've come to after watching this episode. Anthony is a producer. I'm not saying he has the title. I'm not saying that he's been asked to be a producer, but Anthony is absolutely producing this show. He is. This is my 2 cents. I absolutely believe that Anthony, Dr. LaTanya, Christina, and Brandon were cool before this show. There wasn't no issues. There wasn't no beef. And I don't even think that Anthony has a beef with Brandon now. But I think that Anthony is strategically doing things to create conflict so that there will be entertaining for the show. That is my opinion. And my opinion is Anthony know that his wife ain't down with the shits. So he had to create it in other places. That's my 2 cents. Now y'all can tell me whether y'all agree, disagree. You can fight me about it. I don't care. But that's how I feel about it. But let's just keep going. So everybody shows up. Christina and Brandon is still feeling some kind of way, right? They still feeling like, you know, they the odd man out, odd couple out, or whatever. So we get on the, you know what I liked about this group trip? I'm going to tell you what I liked about this group trip. I can appreciate the way this group trip went down. They got on the bus, and they played a game. But you know what the game wasn't? The game wasn't messy. It wasn't some old made up, so who here is it that you don't trust? So if you were stuck on a deserted island, who on this bus would you kill first? Like, it wasn't a game that was created to create drama for the sake of drama. It was the black version of Taboo, and they had fun, and they were playing it, and they had a good time, right? I don't know how many hours this trip is outside of Detroit, but they seemed like they had a good time. Now, once they got to the house, and you know what else I appreciated? Nobody was fighting over no rooms, okay? Either they must have had name tags or whatever, but everybody knew where their room was without it being no whole situation. I'm sick of seeing grown people fight over a damn room in a mansion. I'm just sick of that. I'm sorry. Now, I can understand the people who get stuck with the bunk beds, because I wouldn't want to be on the bunk bed. But when you fighting over whether your room has a sunken in tub versus a stand-up shower and all that. I'm so sick of this. You got millionaires fighting over mansions. I'm sick of it. So I'm glad that we didn't have that going on. Okay. So we found out that the first night, Russell has volunteered to cook. Now, him and Kobe was in there cooking, and everybody was sort of in their own little space, kind of, you know, chilling before dinner. And everybody was sort of talking about the elephant in the room. Like, look, we know before this weekend is over, some hard conversations are going to have to be had. You know, we have some conflicts going on between the couples. Even though Russell and Kobe's situation seems to sort of be resolved. I mean, Kobe was like, listen, the trust is broken, blah, blah, blah. So we come to dinner, And here's the other thing I like. I really liked a lot about this group trip so far. Now, I know we only on episode 1. We probably going to be there for another episode, at least one more episode, because they was only there for the weekend. But y'all know they can stretch it out. Here's the thing. I can appreciate that they was having that good food, and Russell cooked it, and everybody was complimenting Russell. And then Dr. Latanya said, listen, we're going to go ahead and have these conversations that we need to have now, because what I'm not going to do is be fighting all weekend. I want us to get this hard out the way so that we can move forward and have fun. We can just go on and resolve it, and then we can have fun, because I'm not doing this all weekend. I was so here for this grown folk resolution conflict situation. I was so here for it. So we go around the room, and the first thing that Brandon does is Brandon apologizes to Kobe. He apologizes for what he said. He apologizes for how he said it, and that, you know, he understands why she was upset. Kobe was like, I hear you and I appreciate it, but I just need you to know that I still feel how I feel, because I feel like the trust was broken and it's going to be a long time. She said, you know, because at this, and at first, you know, I was like, what does she mean the trust is broken? The trust is broken. The trust is broken. But then when she explained it, I understood a little bit. I still think y'all carrying it. But I understood a little bit more about what she was saying. So what she was saying was, because I am a content creator and Christina is a content creator, if you feel like every time Christina does something, I'm copying off of her, or I'm riding off of her coattails, or I'm using her in some kind of way, then I don't feel comfortable in sharing what I'm doing, or even engaging in a lot of extra conversation, because I don't want to be accused of stealing anything from anybody. So from that aspect, I kind of understand where Kobe is coming from, but I really don't think y'all are using the right words. I don't really feel like the trust was broken. I really feel like you just don't feel comfortable opening up to them and, what's the word I'm looking for? Sharing with them, bouncing ideas off of Christina. Like you, that comfortableness that you felt like you had with Christina because y'all were both content creators and you felt like there was something there that y'all could build and bond off of, that's gone. I don't know, trust, I mean, I can't tell you how you feel, I mean, clearly. But I don't know, trust just ain't hitting me. It's just not hitting me. That is trust. But here, like I said, I can't tell you how to feel. By no stretch can I tell you how to feel, okay? So then we get into this conversation about the whole Publicist. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. At this point, I understand the need to get to the bottom of it. I absolutely do. Because it is a he say, she say. It is, you know, whatever. But there is a need to get to the bottom of it. There needs to be a resolution here. So I understand that, and I do respect that. So Anthony was like, listen, we don't really need to keep saying what B said. B is the lady's name. B. I'm not calling her B. There's no need for us to keep going talking about, well, she said this and she didn't say that. What she said, you said. Because there was a whole lot of she said. And Anthony was like, look, I can just call her. Ain't nothing but a phone call. And Christina's face did look a little bit like, oh, shit. I ain't gonna lie. Christina's face was giving me, oh, shit. And at the end of the day, they called the woman, and the woman said exactly what she said in that clip that the production showed us last week. She never said that Russell and Kobe had anything to do with it. She never said that. What was said was, at first she said y'all, and when Christina asked for clarification on the y'all, she said, well, just Brandon. And Christina even asked, I think she asked about Russell and Kobe, and she was like, no, Russell and Kobe's name never came up. Now, everybody else is acting like they still confused, and I'm not just sure what they confused about. The only way you can still be confused is if you're choosing not to believe what the Publicist said. And again, I can understand that. If you're friends with Brandon and Christina, and you don't know this woman from a hole in the wall, and you know that this woman is cool with Anthony and Dr. Latanya, I can understand you questioning what she said. But as a viewer on the outside looking in, I'm like, what we still confused about? We got the whole clip from last week, and I know they don't have the vantage point of knowing that Christina and the Publicist talked, and the Publicist told Christina no, they don't have nothing to do with it. I get that you don't have that vantage point, but I do. So from my vantage point, there's no confusion. Christina, you lied. Period. You lied because you were trying to create a situation where it was us against them. You wanted to bring Kobe and Russell in on the beef, and that's my 2 cents. That's where I'm coming from with it, right? You were trying to bring them in on the beef. So you try to create a us against them. That's how I feel about it. And Anthony nipped that shit in the bud. Because Anthony was like, listen, all we got to do is call her. And this is a woman who has an independent business outside of this show. She has nothing to gain by possibly marring her image or mixing her image up in this, right? She has nothing to gain from that. So personally, I believe her. I believe that she never said Russell and Kobe, and I believe that she said Brandon. Now, at the end of the day, this all goes back to Anthony as being messy, because there was no reason and no need for you to really tell that woman, well, Brandon said that he don't mess with you. You know why it was no reason for you to say that? Because business is business. People do business all the time that may or may not personally care for each other, but it's business. This woman is a publicist. Christina was looking for representation. It ain't got nothing to do with Brandon. Even if Brandon said it, which Anthony still insists Brandon said it, and Brandon said he didn't say it. So they like, well, we just need to agree to disagree on it, because I'm not going to keep fighting over it. I know I didn't say it, and he insisted I did say it, and I'm not going to keep fighting with him. So at the end of the day, what it really boils down to is who you choose to believe in this moment. I believe Brandon probably said it. Honestly, I do. But I also feel like Anthony repeating it was messy. Now, Anthony was like, them my people, and I'm going to let my people know. It wasn't necessary for you to get in that. That's just my 2 cents. So that was dinner, child, and that's kind of where we walked away from dinner. Kobe said, I believe in forgiveness, but that doesn't mean that I still got to be in your space. I can respect that, because I'm the same way. I can forgive you for what you did. That don't mean we friends again. That don't mean we cool again. And it damn sure don't mean that we were where we were, that we are where we were. And we may never get back there. It's hard for me. Once I stop effing with you, I stop effing with you. I can see you and speak. I can wave. But if you would, I think I told y'all this before. I had a friend before. Me and this person was cool. We was tight every day. We saw each other all the time. Hung out all the time. Like, we spent a lot of time together, on the phone together. We knew each other's business. Our families knew each other. Boom, boom, boom. We had a nasty falling out. Child, I ain't got time to get into all them details, but we had a very nasty falling out. 10 years later, 10 years. 10 years later, we finally sat down and actually had a conversation and hashed it all out. She thought we was going to go back to being best friends. I was just like, I'm glad I got that out the way. It wasn't even closure for me, because at that, 10 years, I had already closed that door. But I'm just glad that we talked it out, so there's like, we could see each other and be cool. That was my mindset. She thought, oh, we're going to start talking every day again and hanging out every day again. And I was like, and it wasn't that I had a problem with her at that point. I just, once it's off, it's off. So anyway, moving on. So the next day, Anthony and Dr. Latanya are going to the winery, because they're actually in town to do business for their wine brand. And then later on, they invited the rest of the crew to come down and have a wine tasting. So we saw them doing a tour of the winery, blah, 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 blah. And then we see the rest of the people show up to do a wine tasting. Listen, if you've never done a wine tasting at a nice winery, listen, even if you're not really into wine, it's just a nice situation. It's a nice moment. And they're generally not that expensive. Just like in anything, you have a deluxe package and you have a basic situation, but they're not usually that ridiculous. I've done a couple of wine tastings, and I ain't no big wine drinker, but it's just a fun afternoon, right? Anyway, so then the rest of them show up, and they got assigned seats. Like, they telling Brandon, sit here. Why? And then we found out that Brandon can't hold his liquor. We found out that there was a whole situation at the event that they had for their wine tasting a couple of episodes ago, where Brandon was just drunk. Drunk. Brandon, sir, you too old to not know what you can and can't hold. Listen, being a drunk in your 20s was funny. Being a drunk in your 30s was okay then. Being a drunk in your 40s is just it's stupid. At this point, we know what we can handle, what we can't handle. We know what our bodies can handle, what it can't handle. You know when your body lets you know when you get in there. So you know when to stop. And at this point, at 40 years old, there's no peer pressure. Ain't nobody like, oh man, you better drink the rest of that. It's like, nah, bro, I'm good. Like, if I see, and I'm not talking about a rare occasion like it's your birthday or something like that, but you just out at a wine tasting and you drunk, that ain't cute. That's just not cute. So we see Kobe pulled Dr. Latanya aside. Kobe pulled Dr. Latanya aside to talk to her about content. Now, Kobe, I'm not mad at you, sis, because as a content creator, you should always be looking for that next opportunity, that next partnership. But it was real funny. You was sitting there, you was showing Dr. Latanya all around the winery and showing her how to create content. But then in your confessional, you was like, because hopefully, I can get, a partnership with Opulence Wine. Now listen, I ain't mad at you, and again, that's what you supposed. I'm sorry, and that's what you supposed to be. My phone just keep going off, and that's what you supposed to be doing, right? But it neither here nor there. Um, they had a nice little frolic through the winery, creating content, making videos, and all that good stuff. I'm interested. Has Christine? See, I just found these people, so and I ain't scrolling that far back on Christina's timeline. I wonder if Christina has ever done a partnership with Opulence Wine. Has she? Wonder. Interesting. So anyway, next we end up down to the boat situation. The ladies went out on the boat. The fellas decided to stay down to the beach because they needed to talk about the showcase, right? Now on the boat, we didn't get to the part where anything really went down on the boat with the ladies yet because the episode ended before we got there. But I'm sure there's some stuff go down on the boat. But down to the beach where the fellas are throwing the football around and they talking about this showcase. This is what I'm talking about. This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about when I say Anthony is a producer, okay? Anthony lets them know that he invited his boy, I don't remember the boy name, Tariq, I think, Tariq, Neek, whatever. He invited him to be a part of the showcase. And Brandon was like, He said, I don't rock with that dude. He been trying to poach my clients for years and I don't rock with him. And Anthony was like, well, this is the first time I've heard about what your actual reason is for not liking him, but that's my guy. He's on my staff and I'm inviting him. Like, I put in on this just like everybody else and I have every right to include whoever I want to include. And Brandon was like, look, I don't know what it is that you seem to have an issue with me. You seem to have it out for me. I'm not understanding what the problem is, but what is, and Anthony was like, what are you talking about? I have zero reasons to come for you. I mean, zero reasons. And I was like, that was shade. Because basically you're trying to say that Brandon ain't got nothing that you need or want, okay? But Brandon ain't wrong for feeling some kind of way. You knew that Brandon and this dude don't rock. You know that. You said that last week yourself, that you know there's something there. You just don't know what it is. You are going out of your way to create issues for Brandon. Now, I ain't saying that Brandon got it all together. I'm not saying that Brandon is doing everything he's supposed to be doing. But it is clear to me, I mean crystal clear to me, that you are going out of your way to cause issues. Out of your way. But anyway, they daggone about to fight. I mean, Anthony got all in Brandon's face, and Brandon was like, bro, I need you to step back. Like, I need you in my personal space, and I need you to remove yourself from it. I'm just trying to let you know ain't no beef. I'm just trying to let you know ain't no beef. You can let me know it ain't no beef without being right here. I don't need you right here. I need you back there. Anyway, that's where the episode ends. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.